Good morning and welcome to COB Yacht Club Opening Day 2020.
Okay, can you shoot a video of all? Sorry. You'll need to go and view it upstairs, and there is a bar upstairs.
Miss Laura,
Because the drink tickets are given out.
welcome to COB Yacht Club's Opening 2020. Commodore Laura Ellsworth.
Which opening?
So, Commodore, seriously, I can't get any drinks?
Yes, you can get drinks
Of course you
upstairs.
can.
It looks like it's the 60th anniversary of the COB Yacht Club. Welcome. Also featured today, maybe not a pink apron, but we've got pink fuzzy slippers. Looks like it'll be a good day.
You get a drink.
All the hard workers.
Get it. You get 2 drinks.
Okay. If they're not registered, they can still.
So we just go upstairs and I can just buy whatever I want, right?
Excuse me, 1 second more. I need your full name and then I'll be done.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Wow. Oh no, Commodore already told me to go upstairs.
Less in my mouth.
No, that's cool.
Yes. But on the bridge of my nose. On the bridge of my nose.
There's not allowed to be trash cans anymore after COVID.
You know, I don't For some reason, the trash can is behind there.
Oh.
Which makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It's not really conveniently located. Yeah, so I came last night, but I didn't realize people would be here if I didn't step up.
How could you wonder that? Have you tasted it?
No.
We're wondering if it's too strong.
Oh, I don't know.
I like it, but she said it's strong. I told you.
Then from a bottle of water, they can
Yeah,
dilute it.
take this.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of diluting it, so that's what we're asking you guys.
Oh, I don't know. I already put it in there.
Yeah.
I already drank my coffee this morning.
Where is the coffee?
I can't do
I
it
can only do one
anymore.
cup a
I
day.
can't
Am I allowed?
Away.
Alright. Just fair warning, our fine bartender's keeping us from being thirsty.
Cap coffee.
Yeah.
But thank you for making it. Here's what I say, Soledad. It's free. Drink it or not.
Real flowers in the cabins. So, smile.
Joan, turn around and take a bow. Thank you for all your hard work.
but I don't want to complicate it.
Hi, bud.
Check. You know, this flag is going to be enough.
We could just move it over.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be.
That's gonna be.
Making movies, Kelly?
Once you get your beverage, you D-dance if you want. Unless you come up with a word in the game. Hi.
No, I was gonna go home and get mine. I don't want
Get out of your apartment.
We're shabby chic. We're not like fancy whatever. Classy fancy. We look great.
I like that window pane. Wow, that's nice.
How are you?
Sort of blue letter.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Bobby. Good to see you.
Blessed be it.
Jim, can I put Ryan next to you?
Started to look for my
You don't have to turn it down. I didn't think they'd be missing tickets. Have they? Well, I know they're doing it.
Well, but state budget's a little short now, so we can't give out many more.
No, I work for
What color would you like to add?
Rodney.
I don't know the price, but there's
I like them. We're gonna get one.
Nice. She grew up right outside of Scott in college. First 2 years, and then I had a coaching last
How's Callie doing?
Oh, doing the pig? We're doing this. Is his sister?
That's a cute tag, isn't it?
And there's Kimmy. Hi, honey.
Was it good?
You, when you were a baby or when you were just little?
When I was little,
Okay.
like 6.
How old are you now, Mackenzie?
Okay, 6 was a long. I had one of those presents, and there was this little. I have a niece that is almost your age, and your mommy got one of the little. Remember that little leopard?
She's got leopard pajamas now.
Oh, I know.
Like a onesie with a hood. It's a little small, but it looks really cute.
She is so.
The rest of it, I cut it off and made it into rags.
Woo! Happy opening day!
Yay! Woo!
Sound guy.
Oh my.
Party sauce.
Hey, how's it going?
He's like this tall. If I'm tall, my dad would have to be really big and have
Thank you very much. My name is John Huntington. I'm the port captain for this year. Can you hear me yet? Can you hear me? Okay. My name's John Huntington. I'm the port captain, and I'm pleased to have everybody here. I'm pleased to have everybody here for the 60th anniversary of our grand opening. 60 years we've been doing this. Please give a round of applause for Colonel Larry Eisenhower, U.S. Army. Our bugler, retired.
Can't hear ya.
Now I'd like to introduce my wife, Nancy Huntington. She's up with me for 49 years now. Whoa, okay, and then I want to really give a thanks for Laura for putting this together. I was the port captain of no. Do we have a permit? No. Can I bring my boat to the harbor? No. They didn't allow anything for the past 45 days. But she fought and fought and fought, and we finally got it together, and here we are. So great round of applause. We're now honored to have the Seal Beach Boy Scout Troop 657 present the colors. Directed by Michael Butcher. With the detail today, we have 5 different cadets. We asked the Yacht Club members, it's really long and complicated. If you've been a member of the military. Color Guard, present colors. I would like to ask Sergeant William R. Crawford to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't think I need that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Guys, I'm supposed to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I can't hear you, Randy.
You can't? Why not?
Now.
Okay, if you will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, Anyo Hadanyo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Never have enough John. That's right.
Let us bow our heads and pray for God's blessing. We thank you, Lord, for this glorious summer day that you have given us to celebrate our 60th opening day of the Seal Beach Yacht Club. Despite all the negativity we see in the news today, occasions such as this give us a chance to reflect on positive things. The positive things that we enjoy as members of the Seal Beach Yacht Club. Like the friendships we have developed, the fun we have experienced, and of course the food we have eaten. As I prepared for this today, I was trying to find some appropriate story. And those of you that know me know that I love stories. So I found this prayer that local fishermen sometimes use when they go out to catch a fish of some sort. God, grant me the serenity to accept the size of the fish I catch, the courage not to fib about it, and the wisdom to know that no one would believe me anyway. Lord, please give the Commodores and members of the Board of Directors the wisdom and the courage to lead the Seal Beach Yacht Club into the future. Help them to guide the club throughout the year with serenity, so that we can continue to enjoy the benefits of our club for many years into the future. Lord, bless all the participants in this opening day, as well as the participants in all the events sponsored by our club throughout the year. Keep safe all our members and all who enjoy the various activities of our club. Help them to return to their homes secure and unharmed after each event. Bless the food that we're going to receive later, provided we have a ticket. And bless those who made it. Lord, bless all the activities of opening day and those who planned it. Finally, I'd like to end with something from the Boater's Prayer. Yes, they have one. Lord, bless our boats from stem to stern and from starboard to port. Please guide us as we navigate unfamiliar waters and protect us from unseen dangers. And above all else, Lord, be our anchor in the storm. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, the military. Please stand. Okay?
Microphone.
In the last year since our last opening day, we've lost several members of our club that crossed over the bar. I'd like to ask you all to stand as I read their names, after which we'll have a short moment of silence, and then I will ring the 8 bells, and we will be followed by taps. Jim Liam, Staff Commodore 2000. Phil D. Janet Bergerman, our first woman member. Sheila Como, Commodore 2009. Keith Hall. Dennis Olson. Thank you.
We'd like to call up Joyce Jackson Coomer, Director, 10th District of the International Order of Blue Gavel.
Hi, can I have John Caldwell come up here, please?
I'm coming. I had to get a drink.
They know each other.
It is my pleasure as District Director of IOBG District 10 to be here today for John Caldwell's induction ceremony. Will members of the International Order of Blue Gavel please stand to take part in this induction ceremony? John, you have served your club as Commodore long enough to understand the trials and tribulations as well as the success and pleasures of that office. You have demonstrated a deep and abiding love for your club by upholding her honor and reputation against all challenges. You have flown your birdie with pride on all proper occasions. You have demonstrated your ability to persevere against the jibes and disappointments you have encountered. Such loyalty and service should not be rewarded by being set aside. With this in mind, the Order of the Blue Gavel was formed to be of service to the yachting and boating community, and especially to your own club. Inasmuch as you have indicated your acceptance of the invitation to join us, we will now ask that you now take the oath of membership in the Order of the Blue Gavel. You will respond the following questions with, "As it has been asked of me, so do I agree." John, do you agree to continue to work for the best interest of your club by advising and counseling with the active officers of the club without in any way usurping their authority and responsibility?
As it has been asked of me, so do I agree.
Do you agree to continue to participate in the affairs of the club as an active member and to encourage others to do the same?
Again, thank you. As it has been asked of me, so do I agree.
Do you further agree to promote the highest standards of sportsmanship and seamanship, and by all of this upholding the standing and reputation of your club?
As it has been asked of me, so do I agree.
By the authority of my office, I now declare you a member of the International Order of the Blue Gavel again, which entitles you to fly our flag on your yacht wherever you may be cruising. May you take pleasure in flying this emblem, which represents your faithful service to your club. Welcome. Here's your certificate.
Hang on.
Your name badge is forthcoming.
Hand down.
Hand it down. You knew. There we go. There we go.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you so much.
Oh, hey, look, it has me here, just in time. Hey, I saw a bunch of staff commodores standing up. Could everybody who's a staff commodore of this club please stand up for a moment? It's a little different this year. We don't have the tent out as we always have. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your staff commodores from Steel Beach Yacht Club. So please say hi to them and their wives who allowed them to do this, and quite often pushed them and helped a lot of times and sometimes did it for them. And I'm sure that each and every one of the staff commodores here will agree with me that none of us have faced the challenges that this year's Commodore Laura Ellsworth has. And I don't think that any one of us could have done the job that Laura Ellsworth has. So if you would all join me in thanking Laura Ellsworth for all she's done for this club throughout this pandemic, We couldn't have a better Commodore for these times. Thank you, Laura. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the flag for 2020. First, Rear Commodore Jim Nagashima and Robbie. Next, we have Vice Commodore Joe Negron and Soledad. And next, you might have heard this name before, your 2020 Commodore Laura Ellsworth and her son William. Ladies and gentlemen, your flag for 2020. Commodore, the podium, George.
Thank you. So where did we go, John?
Closer to microphone.
I don't have anything to say yet. Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to introduce my son, William, and his girlfriend, Aura. May I present our 2020 Board of Directors. They are located behind me, and as I call your name, please stand. Dan Davia and Carrie. Barbara Eric. Dawn Ellen and Noah. Bob Schweitzer and Diane. Brad Bergeron and Kim. Barbara Hunt and Dennis Doyle up there with the cannon. Peter Neal on Zoom. Rwanda Tucker. Thank you. John Schroeder and Sylvia. Captain John Schroeder and Sylvia. Treasurers Steve Stanek and Marie. Secretary Lily Green and Jim. Judge Advocate Rich Winslow on Zoom, I think, and Beth. Lead Surgeon Dr. Terry Whipsick and Carmi on Zoom. Hi, Dr. I'd like to thank you all for your service to this club. Please welcome to the podium our Seabell's Chair for 2020, Sally Cohen.
I just want to say that I'm thrilled to see everyone at our club today. It's wonderful. Yay! I also want to say that so many people right now, today, yesterday, the weeks past have worked so hard to make this event happen. And especially our Commodore, Laura Ellsworth. Our Seabells, a wonderful, wonderful group. All the women in the club are members of Seabells, and every one of you is so special. Wonderful people that I've worked with and treasured. They are our tiaras, our diamonds. And I just want to say thank you too for all of you who have helped me all through this year. Wonderful. Now I want to recognize our previous chairs of Seabells. Of course, not everyone's here, but I'm going to read your name. So please stand up and stay standing till we finish our list. Seabells started in 1978. Thank you, Bruce Miller, for that information. So in 1982, Joan Wolford was our Seabells chair. Then 1988, Carol Miller, is she here?
No. Her husband is.
Okay.
Bruce is
Then
here.
1994, Laura Edwards. 1995 and 96, Sheila Komarow. 1999, Sheila Komarow. 2000, Robbie Nakashima. 2004 and 5, Nancy Hanna and Mary Dominic. 2008, Patty Hall, where are you? Yay! Okay, 2009, Mary Holland. Okay, 2012, Lily Green and Mary Holland. 2013, Jan May. 2014 and 15, Barbara Eric. 2016, another team, a good one, Catherine Flippen and Gretchen Bornhoff. 2017 till now, Joan Palango. So many wonderful Zoom meetings. Thank you, Joan, for doing that and keeping us united. That's so important. And thank you, Lily, for your programs today and for the crepe tickets. Just a wonderful group. Now, what do we have here that's so important? We have sailing ships. We have power ships. We even have some Duffy ships. But what is the best of all?
Friendship!
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful being your Seabells chair. Oh, thank you, Don Cohen, my husband.
Almost forgot about us.
No, he wouldn't forget.
Thank you, Sally, for taking us here. Membership Chair, Rwanda Tucker. Vice Chair, Bob Weber. Facilities Chair, Terry Hanna. Junior Foundation President is Rick Jinklees. Cruise Chair is Kim Bergeron. Historian, Bergeron. Matt Negron. OD Chair, Dennis Doyle up in the top room. Whaler Captain Ken Sykes. Bowline Editor Joan Palango. Roy Duncan. Scuttlebutt Editor John Caldwell. Port Captain is John Huntington. And Food Captain is John Schroeder. Thank you, everyone. We're very fortunate here at the Yacht Club to have a terrific staff as well. Please welcome our office manager, who really runs this place, Cheryl. She's the lady behind every single person here, so put a face to it, be sure. You look beautiful. Our bar manager is Spider Bedford. I don't know if he's here.
Becky is.
Becky's here. Club Rentals, again, that's Billy Green. And our bar staff is Becky and Charlene. Our food service mostly is Fernando, except today we have... Can Ryan Billings please step to the podium for a presentation to our club?
Hi, my name is Ryan Billings. I work for State Assemblyman Tyler Deep, and it's my pleasure to be here and representing him today. The Assemblyman wants to extend his congratulations to your club for your 60 years, and particularly wants to thank all of you and the club itself for all the service that you've done to the community. Laura told me and has shown me in some emails all of the volunteer and work and contributions that you've made to Seal Beach and beyond. So a particular thanks for all of that work. So Laura and the club, on behalf of Assemblyman Deep, congratulations. Thank you for all of your service and best wishes for the next 60 years.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay, would Fleet Captain John Schroeder come to announce the winners and award the trophies for the Bristol Boat Contest?
But I got a couple of banners here. I'm going to ask Jim, our rear cap, I almost made him an admiral, Commodore, to step up, because he helped me with the judging because I don't know my starboard from my port. That's been true. Or my fore, before my stern. Well, I know where my stern is. Okay. Okay, we're going to call up first the winner for the powerboat, and the winner is, let's give a cheer for Cheers! Come on up. opportunity.
I don't believe it. What a beautiful boat.
They have a wonderful boat, and they've invited everybody over after.
Oh, great job, cheers.
I gotta say one thing. None of this could be possible without my wife.
Okay, now go sit down. The winner is Inquisitor, very sharp. Larry's going to meet us at the parade, but he's not here right now, so we're going to hold this up for our photo op. All right. So I'll take that over to Larry. Now, those of you, you're dismissed. Those of you that are going to the boat parade, I have a map if you don't know where we're meeting. Okay? But it's over there in the basin in front of, what would you say?
Gas rock. Marine office.
The Navy Yacht Club that and beyond. The big basin over there. All that places. Okay, so that's where...
With all of our members, we have chosen not to have any visitors at the club and it have only be members only so that we could practice social distancing. So we do not have the visitors that are SCYA that are usually here in the dignitaries, except for the few that have come up, and then there's one more. So, at this time, I would, you're always here, John.
I don't count.
I'm going to do my part. It's short. You all have a very active Seal Beach resident as a Commodore this year. I thought I would bring the Seal Beach to the Seal Beach Yacht Club. So as you can tell by this ceremony, I have brought residents and VIPs and to help us celebrate our 60 years. Our color guard is from Seal Beach and surrounding areas, and even from my street is one of my neighbors. Jenna is a local, is a vocalist, and she's also a local Seal Beach. She lives right around the corner from me. Some of you might not know that the club began with seven businessmen at the Glider Inn in Seal Beach. The first Commodore's Ball was at the Airport Club at 101 Pacific Coast Highway. It's now known as a homeless fishing pole. Ever see it over there? That's what it is. Our first Commodore, of course, was Daniel Callis, and he was a Navy architect, and whose family has joined us here today, and will speak in a few minutes. The second Commodore was the Chief of Police of Seal Beach. So it's fitting, I guess, that I'm the 60th Commodore. The reason my husband and I chose this yacht club is because we are Seal Beach. We love Seal Beach, and we don't like to travel very far. Please take the time to visit our walk-through history as you are coming in. As you exit out, please look at it, because those were articles that were in the local newspapers. They're the photographs. It's just the history of Commodore to Commodore all the way down, and we have them sitting out there. They're right here, and I think that that's a fitting place for it to be at our 60th. And my son hooked it all up and did it on the computer and all that for us. This is not the day that I planned to celebrate our 60th opening day, our Diamond Jubilee. But I am happy that our ladies wore their tiaras and everyone looked so beautiful, and it warms my heart. Before we go any further, I must talk about the elephant in the room. As a New Yorker, I say a lot of potty words. I'll share some of those potty words right now. Words that I've learned in the last 3 months. COVID-19. Face coverings. Confinement. Social distancing. Loneliness. Toilet paper. I don't get it. Hand sanitizer. Stay-at-home order. Record unemployment. Zoom meetings. Mask shaming. Peaceful protest. Rioting. And looting right here in Long Beach. All of these things are potty words, and they have all affected our club, our country, and the world. But when tragedy strikes, I believe that is when the angels show up. And in that way, the people that go running into the buildings that are burning to save people, the medical community, our first responders, people put themselves in harm's way for us, the police department. As with the potty words, there are also opposite words that we've learned from all of this, and we will use the words of our own members to sum that up. Our members have been grateful to spend time together with a spouse, time to plant a garden and share with neighbors, finish up chemo and making upgrades to their boats. Some members spend time on their boats. Some members spend time reading, while others create an incredible bond with their grandchildren through Zoom. Other members were happy to have a surprise full house of people to spend the time with. Most members are looking forward to the hugs when we are able to do that, and appreciate being able to dance to Sweet Caroline. The calling of everyone to be sure that they have everything that they needed. Keeping others company from a distance. Some are thankful for all of the love that our club has given during that time. I personally was happy to provide whatever I could to our members. And lastly, one member said he was happy that we were all alive. With that, I will remind everyone that at the beginning of the year, I chose the theme for this year as Every Member Matters. I believe very, very strongly in this spirit, and it has led me in my leadership role for you all this year. I also believe that our members have proved it as well when we were tested to step up to be together. I am so proud of each one of you. So let's continue to move forward in kindness. And remember, the pride in this club is stronger than any virus. So, as we are handed lemons this year, we made some pretty good lemonade, huh? I'd like to now introduce our very important guest speaker, the grandson of our first Commodore, Dan Callis, who is joined by his sister, Chris. You all don't know this, but I've been stalking this family for a year. Thank you, Melanie, for connecting that dot for us. Now, Dan, if you would join us.
Ever say this? Thank you so much for stalking me. And the other thing I don't think I've ever heard was, and on Zoom, it's a real pleasure and honor to be here this morning for both myself and my sister Chris, to share with you about our grandfather, Daniel Millard Callis, Sr. I am the third. He passed away when I was 7 years old after a struggle with dementia. And so my last real memories of him was when I was, cue the music. It's when we used to run. No. It's when I was around 5. So the opportunity of the last several weeks to prepare for this morning was a real blessing to be able to spend time with him again and really get to know him as an adult, to look at his legacy and his accomplishments and appreciate them for what they really were. But Daniel Millard Callis, Sr., a passionate waterman, he was on the sea from the age of 8 to 81. He began his lifelong love for sailing as a young boy as part of his father's fleet, and by 17 he raced his first boat under the flag of the Corinthian Yacht Club of Baltimore. In his lifetime, he was a member of the Yacht Club of Baltimore, the Maryland Motorboat Club, of which he served as Rear Commodore and Vice Commodore, the Chesapeake Yacht Racing Association, the Seattle Yacht Club, the California Yacht Club, the Catalina Yacht Club, the Los Angeles Yacht Club, the Pacific Coast Yacht Club, and the Southern California Tuna Club. He was a founding member and first Commodore of the Long Beach Yacht Club, and in 1961, at the age of 80, and at the age of 80, was one of the founders and the first Commodore of the Seal Beach Yacht Club. This past week, I was in Seal Beach surfing with my 8-year-old and my 40-year-old son, and telling my 8-year-old grandson about his great-great-great-grandfather. It was especially a special moment that
yeah,
to
let
be able
me
to
change
tell a
battery
boy
point.
who
Come and get me.
loves the ocean, can't get enough of the ocean, that he is a 5th generation Seal Beach, who was literally born in Seal Beach in the living room of my son and daughter-in-law's home, Baltimore, Maryland, in 1881. He grew up on the water. His father was an accomplished yachtsman, and as a young man, Daniel learned to build and race both sail and motorboats. After completing his degree in marine engineering from Maryland Polytech, he apprenticed for the marine department of the Maryland Steel Company. His first real job, his paying job, was for the shipbuilding yard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He then moved to New Jersey to work for the Perth Amboy Shipbuilding Company, and after that to Staten Island to become the chief draftsman for the New York Shipbuilding Company. So we've got the East Coast covered. And every weekend, he was on the sea. At 37, he accepted a job for the Todd Shipbuilding Company of New York to become the assistant naval architect at their Seattle, Washington shipyard. There, he was offered a commission in the Naval Reserve and appointed assistant district manager and special representative for the 13th Naval District, in charge of overseeing the arming of merchant vessels for World War I. And every weekend, he was on the sea. In 1920, he transferred his professional activities to Los Angeles and ultimately to Long Beach, opening a private practice, D.M. Callis, Naval Architect and Engineer. During this time, he focused on his love of racing and pleasure yachting, designing private pleasure crafts, both motor and sailing. Between 1920 and 1947, his designs were built at the Wilmington shipyards in Wilmington, California. In his private practice, he designed and supervised the constructions of over 300 vessels of pleasure type, boat power and sail. His most sought-after designs were the classic wood-hull fantail yachts. Amongst his clients were J. Paul Getty and William Randolph Hearst. In 1921, a publication called The Pacific Motorboat, an article we have, states, Callis's active participation as a yachtsman and the experience gained in handling of pleasure craft and commercial vessels have given him an intimate knowledge that will doubtlessly be reflected in all the designs prepared by him. And every weekend, he was on the sea. So his broader influence in the West Coast waterways. During the years between the World Wars, my grandfather was active developing and advancing sport yachting and yacht racing in the waters off the California coast. In response to state legislative requests, he created an organization known as the Yacht Architects, Brokers, and Surveyors Association of California, serving as their first president. The purpose of the organization was to require all naval architects, yacht brokers, and marine surveyors practicing in the state of California to be qualified and licensed. The inquiry was addressed to my grandfather, and he was elected the general chairman of the executive committee to oversee all aspects of the race. The race was to start in Long Beach, check in at Santa Barbara, then at Monterey, and finish up in the San Francisco Bay. Approximately 400 miles. And as of that date, it was the longest powerboat race ever held in the world. The race was a great success, and as a result, the Long Beach Yacht Club was established with my grandfather as the first Commodore. In 1939, just prior to the Second World War, he re-entered into contract with the Willamette Iron and Steel Company of Portland, Oregon, relocating from Long Beach to Portland in order to reorganize the engineering department to handle anticipated Navy contracts for the Pacific Fleet. In the 3 years that he spent in Portland, he designed 45 vessels for the Navy's West Coast fleet, including torpedo boats, destroyers, and aircraft carriers. In '43, he returned to Long Beach, resuming his private practice, and in 1948, this is where it happens, Laura, he moved his practice to Seal Beach. That's when he really got serious. He designed and built out property on the corner of Marina Drive and 7th Street. The complex he named the Sportscraft Enterprises Building. This complex held his design studio and drafting rooms, as well as shop space for sailmakers, marine hardware and rigging, marine canvas shop, nautical navigation and communication equipment, and my childhood memory was a full wood hull boat building yard. So it's basically a one-stop shop in Seal Beach, where you could have your yacht or sailing ship designed, built out, rigged, and then I have childhood memories, early childhood memories. This is after my grandfather passed, but the boatyard is continuing. Jim Hill was the boat builder. Of at midnight, closing down PCH and rolling these massive boats out and bringing them down to the Long Beach port under a caravan of police cars. He became very involved in the Hollywood entertainment industry in the first half of the 20th century. He designed and oversaw the building of numerous historic vessels for designs for several major Hollywood studios. In 1935, he contracted with MGM Studio, designing the vessel The Bounty for the original Mutiny on the Bounty, starring Clark Gable. We have the blueprints. 1939, Paramount Studio contracted with him to design for the movie Rulers of the Sea, starring Douglas Fairbanks. In 1940, Fox Studio reached out and hired him to design a ship, a turn-of-the-century clipper ship for the Little Old New York, starring a young Fred McMurray, if you remember him. And then in 1954, this upstart visionary company that decided that it would create a world in Anaheim, California, Disney, reached out to my granddad and asked him to design several vessels, including the Mark Twain, the paddle boat at Disneyland, and then a few smaller vessels, the Jungle Boat rides. In 1959, one of his fantail yachts, the Portola, was used for shooting of the scene of the movie Some Like It Hot, starring Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon.
And Marilyn Monroe.
Yes. So 2 years later, 1961, as we heard earlier, a group of local businessmen gathered at the Gliders Inn. My grandfather was one of them. And to discuss their interest in the traditional Corinthian yachting and the impressive location. Seal Beach is a year-round yachting site. And they immediately incorporated, and the group elected my grandfather the first Commodore of the Seal Beach Yacht Club. His role as Commodore was very year before the founding. His beloved Irish-born wife, Molly, passed away from a long fight with dementia. And it was in that time that my grandfather's health began to fail. I think it was maybe one of the reasons for the quick transition in that first year. He lived on another 2 years and passed away at the age of 83. In my research, I came across a book entitled The History of the Harbor District of Los Angeles by Ella Ludwig, in which she writes of my grandfather. Boat building in general and the yacht construction industry in particular was a genuine debt to men of the caliber of Daniel Miller Callis, who did so much to popularize pleasure boating on the waters of the Pacific as found off the coast of Southern California. He is one of the pioneers of a great industry. So Laura, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share my grandfather's history and his relationship to your distinguished organization. So thank you so much.
Dennis Doyle, Joe Yates, Sid Newman. Jamie was here a long time yesterday. Jamie's still here? Yesterday running around here we had Joan, Rosalia, Catherine, Lily, Peter on Zoom, John Huntington, new Brad, Cindy, and Anna Mulligan. Wait till you see the club. That's new Brad. Wait till you see the clubhouse upstairs. We did a great job with decorating all of the trophies, as we were trying to be as fiscally as responsible this year as we could since the club has been closed. So I hope you appreciate that we don't have the confetti cannon, but we did have a flyover. And then finally, I would like to ask Jenna, can you come up and sing us another song?
If tomorrow all the things were gone that I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my family and my friends, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause that flag still stands for freedom, and we can't take that away. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. There's pride in every American's heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Thank you so much. God bless.
I live in a nice town.
That song should have been sung.
Thank you, Jenna. Okay, is at that part, please enjoy your grapes from our food truck. And then you, wait, I know.
coming up.
Okay, everyone, please get a crate for yourself. And then once everyone's served, go back, have 2, have 3, whatever you want. But only take 1 and please get up yourself and do it so that way we have enough for everyone. Last time everyone went up and got 3, one thing, and everybody stood around and was like, okay, I'll just wait. Drink tickets will not be accepted upstairs, so that's the bar upstairs, it's a pay bar. And please stand by for our boat parade. Skipper's meeting is at 12 o'clock. Where's John Schroeder? See John Schroeder? And besides for that, I believe we're ready to go. Vice Commodore Joe Negron. Is the house ready to accept visitors?
Absolutely.
Finally, Judge Advocate Richard Winslow. Is the club free of any legal pending lawsuits or litigations? Hold on.
We hope so.
Hold on. It's not on Zoom. Yes, everything is good. Port Captain John Huntington, is the harbor open?
Free of ice. Yes. Tell us, John.
Sir, the shoals
What's there?
have been dredged. The boats are back in the marina. The harbor is clear of ice except for there's one boat that's got this ice maker in it. Kim Natcheron just got an ice maker, so watch out for her. Okay? And there have been no Jolly Rogers seen for some time now. So the harbor is now open.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Rich. Now please raise your glass for a toast. The winds of change are always blowing. All you need to do is raise your sails. Remember, throughout this year, every member matters. I declare Seal Beach Yacht Club finally open for the 2020 anniversary. Thank you, everyone.
Kenny.